We are
excited.
excited about the elaboration room.
I am excited about this.
Welcome to the Elaboration Room with Reverend Yo and Reverend Harris.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the elaboration room with two sisters of one. As always, we thank you for supporting us and watching us and talking about it. We thank those who are joining in the conversation as we are coming to the end of another year.
Yeah.
Rolling out these episodes, rolling out these topics that we hope we are offering you something else to consider.
Yes.
And so far, we're still having a good time doing this. So far, we're still having a good time of doing this, right,
Yes,
sis?
we are.
And as long as it's fun, we're going to keep on doing this. And
Definitely.
funny, I'm thinking about our topic for this episode as I'm saying that, our topic for this episode is living with insecurities. Living with insecurities. I always think about what is meant for you is meant for you, but some of us are walking around like, why not me?
Mm,
Look at what they have.
mm,
Where's mine, God?
mm.
But don't let me get rolling. I will be back in to make some additions, but I'm not starting this episode. So, Reverend Yo, go ahead.
But you started with a point, sissy, so you should have finished it because it really makes you, if you think about it, think about what you were just saying. We get caught up wondering about what somebody else has.
Yes.
And because we do that, then we deal with these insecurities of our own lives and the blessings that we have, not even knowing we actually have them because we're so focused on somebody else.
And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we live in this world where insecurity is quietly destroying people, if we think about it. Not always loud, not always publicly, but silently in the thoughts that no one hears, that no one can have a comparison to, or that even no one else can see, because we're getting caught up in what we see somebody else having instead of the blessings that God has given us. So insecurity shows up when someone looks at what another person has, or they're looking at their marriage, or they're looking at their ministry, their house, their cars, their gifts, their callings, and suddenly it feels like, why is God giving them all of that and not giving me anything?
I like what you said. And I like when you said they're not looking at what they have. So that means that they are ignoring the blessings that God is giving them.
Exactly. Because they're focused on what they see that somebody else has. And I don't know where it started from, but I've heard it for years of my life where people say the grass ain't always greener on the other side. So you,
So
you don't
true.
know what that person had to go through
Thank you.
to get
Yes.
where they are. You don't know what struggle they had in their marriage, or, you don't know how they got the house. You don't know how they got the car, and we get caught up in all of that. But the reminder for all of us should always be insecurity is not a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of what you believe about yourself. And God is calling us to believe what he says and not what we see, because we can get so caught up in looking at what somebody else has and start taking that and comparing it to where we are in life. And actually, just because we may have less than doesn't mean we're less blessed. But
Correct.
people look at material things as blessings, and then it makes that person becomes insecure because they feel like they don't have what they should have. But Galatians 6 and 4 reminds us, it says, but let each one examine his own work, and then he will have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. And looking at that, it really tells you that comparison yourself to someone else can kill your joy. It can make you blind to your own blessings. If you really, really think about it, you could be surrounded by God's goodness. God is constantly blessing you, blessing after blessing after blessing, and you still feel empty because you're too busy looking at someone else's portion.
The focus is in the wrong place.
Definitely in the wrong place, because insecurity will constantly whisper to you what they have is better than what you have. Why
And
didn't
why
God
would you say that though?
But you never know the minds of what someone is thinking when they're in that state of being insecure in a insecurity place, because they're looking at what somebody else has. So their first thought is they have what they have is better than what I have. Or why didn't God bless me like that? Or why didn't my story turn out the way their story turned out?
Hmm.
You start comparing yourself to what somebody else has or what somebody else is going through or what they got through, but you're still talking down on yourself because you don't see the blessings that God is giving you. You cannot walk confidently in your calling while staring at someone else's lane. So it's
Mm.
like you're driving your car in this is your lane, but you have totally lost focus. So now you begin to drift over in somebody else's lane.
And a lot of times, a person won't want to go through what that person went through to have the blessings that they have.
Think about it. Because people only see what we have. They don't know the story behind what we had to go through to get what we have.
Or what's going on behind closed doors. Are they
Yeah.
really the walking in what you perceive as a blessed life?
Hmm. Yeah. Because we
Woo!
get so caught up in the materialistic things and we miss out on the blessings that God is currently giving us because we're so caught up in what we see and not looking at what God has given us. We think about Saul in the Bible. He was king, chosen, he was anointed, he was appointed, all of those things. But the moment he heard the woman praising David, his insecurities,
Jealousy
jealousy hit him hard.
hit him hard. And yeah, that's a lot. The
Hit him hard.
insecurities in life are the foundation of a lot of it is jealousy.
Yeah. So when Saul stopped valuing what God gave him because he saw what God gave someone else, it messed him up.
Mm-hmm.
It really did, because when you compare, you lose sight of your identity. When you compare, you stop celebrating your progress. When you compare, you begin to believe the lie that you don't measure up. And all of that can get you twisted up because you have just taken your focus off what God is doing in your life and put it on what God is doing in somebody else's life. And now you're comparing yourself to someone and you don't even know the struggle they have to get what they have.
And you ease up on walking the path that you are meant to be walking. It,
Definitely.
you ease up on doing what your job is
Yeah.
on the earth.
Yeah. And insecurities can mess you up because it makes you forget what God already said he was going to do, because it's not happening as fast as you want it to happen.
There you go.
It's a delay, and many people think just because it's a delay you're denied. Just because you delay does not mean you're denied. It's just not time. And I can't remember who said it. It was one of the preachers. I can't remember. One of my pastors. I don't know which one, but it was that one of my pastors used to always remind us that you're chasing the wrong dreams because you're chasing the wrong person. You're chasing the wrong dream because you're chasing the wrong person. So you're following after people or a person and they can't even come close to what God has given you.
Where God,
But you're
yeah,
focused on the person that you're following instead of following God.
yes. There
And
you
we're reminded in the Bible that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. So when God made you, he made you with an intention. He has a purpose for you. He has a purpose for me. He has a purpose for you, sis. But your personality, your gifts, your voice, everything, your journey, there is nothing accidental about no person that God has made. And he made us all. I don't care what people say, God made us all. I don't care what they think. God made us all.
that's right.
But but when you have these insecurities, it will make you start questioning everything. Am I good enough? Why did God make me like this? Or why can't I be more like them? You don't know the struggles behind the scene. The enemy loves insecurity because it distracts you from your destiny. Ooh, that's a good one, sis. Distracted from your destiny. Let me
Should I
write that
write
one.
that down?
So I forget.
Sounds like a topic in the making.
Yes, it definitely does. Because you have to remember that when you are insecure, you won't take the risk. When you're insecure, you'll shrink back. And when you're insecure, you'll doubt your value. And when you start to do those things, then you begin to come out of where God has you because you are so focused on everything else. But let me speak this into everyone that's listening or will listen, spirit. You are enough because God says you are enough. You are equipped because God placed something inside of you, and you matter because heaven invested in you. That's what I want you to remember. Mm-hmm. What you got, sis?
You said so much that I am, I don't know where to begin because I think I want to start with we have to understand that God's plans for our lives, what God has planned for you, God has planned for you, and where's the scripture? You know the scripture.
Which one?
Plans to prosper you and not to harm you.
Jeremiah, is that
Plans to give
Jeremiah
you
29
hope
and
and a
11?
future.
Jeremiah 29:11.
Yeah, Jeremiah 29. And that's what God has ordained for each one of us. It can't be stolen and it can't be erased.
That
That
is.
we don't have to be coveting what someone else is doing or what someone else has
Mm-hmm.
because circumstances may seem uncertain at times. And sometimes the path may seem like we are stalled or shifted in a way, but it's still God's plan.
Yep.
And as long as we don't shut down,
Mm.
it's going to go forward.
Every time.
But so often, like you were saying, people become focused on stuff, the
Yep.
stuff that someone else has, the
Yep.
just stuff. And I'm going to say this that in every aspect of a relationship with God, stuff should not be given any credence. Stuff should not be held in high esteem
Yep.
because you know what stuff is. Stuff are those little God gods.
Yep.
The Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode every Monday at 6 p.m.